Welcome back, everyone, to our Groundskeeper Chat series. I am your host, Meg Kruger. We are live from Palm Springs, and I am joined by my official. He is cemented in. He is so proud to be here, Mr. Christopher Bell, the wonderful co-host.
Co-host, yeah.
And our guest today mentioned, he listens along, has been listening along for a long time. He says you can always tell when Chris is on an episode because you hear a deep sigh.
I don't plan on the size. It just happens. It's organic.
What are they in correlation to?
It's usually something you say.
Oh, okay. Understood. And today we are so lucky to be joined by Tyler Morris. This is what, third? Or would this be fourth?
This is
fourth.
Third official. Fourth, I was on the rush hour last year.
Hell yeah. Yes, you were. And somebody told me today that you were the youngest certified sports field manager.
Yep. So January 2022.
How cool.
Got that designation. So I was happy to be a part of such a large group. Like, not even a large group, but just such a good group of people,
Yep.
Like, it just shows where the industry's headed with the group of people like that can help mentor all the others that aren't in that, and even the ones that are, right? Like, as soon as you put that on your after your name, everybody's like, well, what's that? And they start asking you questions, and it starts facilitating just a great commentary about the industry itself.
Definitely. And you are the head sports field manager. Did I get that title right?
Yep. Head sports field manager.
Over in East Rutherford, New Jersey.
Yep.
With MetLife.
I don't know where the accent is. Like, what?
Definitely not a Jersey accent. I don't know what that was.
And I don't even have a good Jersey accent, and I'm lucky for it, right? I've only been living there for like 2 years, and I've kept the Southern accent that I got over the years.
Jersey, East Rutherford, New Jersey, MetLife Stadium.
Yep.
That is your home turf. You guys have had quite the year, but really what is to come is even more, I don't know if I would say daunting or exciting. We'll let you describe what's coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, so we get a good probably 3-4 months off.
Okay.
So January to April, we don't have any events.
Nice.
But we do have a lot of planning right now. A lot of our work is in the planning stage, but we're also completing some back-of-house construction as well to start prepping for the World Cup and what's to come. So we do have to make room for a wider pitch. We have to take out some seats and build them back temporarily to make room for that larger pitch. We have to add back-of-house vacuum ventilation system, irrigation system, pumps, storage tanks.
Wow.
Electrical plugs for grow lights. I mean, it's all of that we're trying to do this off season, because in the 26 off season, it's just going to be so focused on the field of play itself that there's not going to be much time for any of that. Right. So right now we are in the process of taking out our east stands to make room for a 68-meter pitch this year. And we're demoing our west stand right now to make room for the temporary seats to go back.
Wow.
So last year we took out right around 12, 13 rows on the east stand.
Okay.
We're taking out at the highest point, like 4 rows on the west.
Okay.
Building that back, all in preparation for, like you said, a busy summer with the Club World Cup tournament. So
in the final match being played.
Yep. So we'll have 5 group stage matches for the Club World Cup, and then we'll go into a 13-day break, and then we'll host a quarterfinal match, 2 semifinals, and the big one of them all, the Club World Cup final.
And you're just like sitting here, cool, calm, collected. Like, how is that? How's that possible?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Truthfully, it's just been like one of those things. Like, I just talk about it, and it's just so easy to facilitate the conversation and just talk through it. And people want to listen, so it's nice to talk about it. And it kind of takes some of the stress away, right? Because in talking to people, it allows me to learn more about like things that can make it better for us, right?
1,000%.
Especially coming here and being around people that are a lot of vendors, but also for some, they're friends too, right? So it makes it easy to be able to talk to them and say, this is what we have going on, and help us out a little bit, just give me a sounding board to talk about it, because that helps.
Well, and what's reassuring just by the nature of this industry is that everyone's rooting for you. Like nobody would ever
Right.
at this point in time want to see the field fail. Like that would be a loss for all of us. And so like you can call anyone who's had a similar experience and they're going to help you along the way, because when you are successful, you're going to create that, you know, that visibility in that standard for the entire industry.
And I think it's an interesting role that I feel like I play in the next couple of years, right? Being host to two of the biggest tournaments in the world.
Yeah.
And facilitating that conversation with people and trying to bring people together, right? A lot of the time sports can be very polarizing. Oh, you cheer for this team, you cheer for that team. But at the end of the day, we are all one team, right? So whether it's us, whether it's the 3 Mexico sites, whether it's the 2 Canadian sites, like bringing everybody together in one place has been a goal of mine, just to make sure that, like you said, we all succeed together.
Yep.
We're all going to deal with a lot of the same issues. We're dealing with tight turnaround times, weird schedule hours. I mean, we host 2 kickoffs that are at 12 o'clock, right? Which just creates a challenge
Like
in and
midnight?
of itself. 12 p.m. Sorry.
Okay.
12 p.m. But
like, what is the reasoning behind that one?
But the prep time starts at midnight, right?
Okay.
So typically for any match that we host, international soccer, the prep starts the day of the match, 12 hours prior to match kickoff.
Yep.
So if you're hosting a 12 p.m. match, that means you're showing up at midnight to try and get that pitch ready. So it's going to create a multitude of problems.
Will you be expanding your staff for this event, or it's the same number of people?
So fortunately for us in New Jersey, we follow a completely union workforce.
Okay.
So we bring in, we have a staff of 4 full-time laborers and 2 part-time painters that help us with day-to-day maintenance and everything else. But as we need more help, we can always call more of those people in. So if we say, hey, like when we install the turf, we bring in 12 people instead of 6.
Okay.
So we're able to do that. Now the struggle is, and I love the team that I have, they're really great and they've taken the time to learn as much as they can, but at the end of the day, they're still not turf professionals. They are, let me say, they are turf professionals. They're just not turf professionals in this aspect. They don't get to come to these events. They don't have an education background. They've learned it all on the job.
Okay.
So it's my role then to advance that turf professionalism for them just by teaching them as much as I can. But I can only do that when grass is in the building, right? So as soon as the grass goes down, it's a learning process.
Yeah.
But we also rely on other, like the Giants facility next door to us. They're right on site. So we can take our guys over there, and they've been super helpful with us to let us mow the field over there with our push behind mowers. Let us paint the field with paint stripers that we use for the World Cup. Like that way that they have the knowledge going into it. And they've been really receptive to it. So I'm super fortunate for that. So while it is only me from a sports field manager aspect, those guys have been really instrumental in making it happen as well.
That's great.
That's crazy. I had no idea that was, because the last couple times I've seen here, it has just been you, and I'm like, where's the crew? But yeah, you're also at that almost disadvantage that they're part of a union that it's not embedded in this industry, so they don't have access to all the resources because they're solely relying on you for that education element of it.
And it's a lot of building trust, right? Like it's showing them, hey, if you mess up, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like it's just like any student that you would have on your staff. It's just like anybody. It's just teaching them what the steps are to be successful and backing them up, right? And a lot of the times I let them fail. And I think we've talked about this before. Like letting the people around you fail is sometimes the best thing you can do, because then you can teach them how to make it better the next time.
Definitely.
So that's something that I've pushed for, especially this year during the Copa tournaments.
Well, and so logistically, like all you did last year and all you have coming up, then you also still have to host 2 NFL teams throughout all that, or are they playing at a different stadium next year, or how? Yeah,
so
logistically,
I'll walk through our schedule of events so
Okay.
that it makes sense for people. So we have the off season, January to April. We're going to host Supercross, Draft Party, and Monster Jam.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
For
Why
the first 3
not
weeks
just
of the
throw
season,
Monster
right?
Jam into the
And
mix?
then after Monster Jam, we host 5 straight weeks of concerts.
Okay. Who you guys
Kendrick
getting?
Lamar,
Okay.
SZA has been announced.
Okay.
Shakira has been announced.
SZA?
Hips don't lie.
Yeah.
You know SZA. You just don't know,
I'm
like
feeling super old.
what? No, what is
No,
like
it's
her
just
main song?
hip-hop.
You
It's
know, like you really do.
We're talking about the guy that doesn't like when we talk about music, though.
Truly.
I love talking about music, just not.
You know,
Meg's
SZA. Like, I would say SZA's not my music even close. It's like top 100. Like,
Really?
Yeah,
yeah.
So if I heard it, I'd be like, oh, okay, I know what this is.
100%. Where I don't want to get us copyrighted, so I won't bring it up at all because they're really after us.
So then 2 weeks of unannounced shows, but
Okay.
they're held in the calendar, so we are more than likely to have something those
Who do you
weeks.
think it's going to be?
I can't say that, Meg.
Well, offline.
You'd probably. I don't. It's kind of your genre.
The
of music.
Wiggles?
Zach Bryan?
Zach Bryan's announced.
Okay, he's
So
already
we-
announced. My
we have
genre
that
of
one.
music, Lumineers. No. Mumford and Sons, are they coming back?
Don't let her pressure you.
Yeah, I was gonna say like.
Don't look into her eyes. Okay?
All right, so 2 weeks of unannounced show. Actually, no, it's 3 weeks. 3 weeks,
Okay.
2 different artists. That's all I can say. I won't go any deeper than that. But I think you would enjoy a trip to New Jersey for either of those shows. I
Dude,
would say.
I can't tell you how many times I've seen you post on social about an upcoming event, and I look to see, like, can I do this trip in one day? Like, what are the flight times that will get me there tomorrow morning, and so that I could be there? It's gonna happen.
We've gotten paint the same day, so I
know
I'm sure we
the
can get you
stars
out
are
there
gonna
in the
align,
same
and
day.
I will be there. Let's write it out, manifest it. I will be there summertime this
All right.
year.
We can
We'll
do
keep
it.
going through the
All right.
schedule events. Let's
All right,
see what
so
I'm interested in.
Concerts, and then we host 5 weeks of soccer.
Okay, that's
nine
when I'll be there.
matches,
That's when
nine
I'll be
matches
there.
of soccer. So that's over 5 weeks, and then we host the Club World Cup final on July 13th. So
Okay.
we're really excited for that date to turn itself around, and then that Friday. So we host that match on Sunday at 3 p.m. I believe, and that 3 p.m. and then on Friday we host Zach Bryan for 3 nights.
Okay.
So there's a 5-day turnaround right there where we go from soccer mode straight into Zach Bryan, and that's our tightest turn that we're gonna have.
My goodness. And then, so we're at the end of the summer then. When
Oh, we're not even at the end.
Oh my goodness.
So we have Zach Bryan. We host another soccer match.
Okay.
We host the first ever 2-day SummerSlam, WWE's SummerSlam event.
Oh my
Why not,
goodness.
right? And then after that, we host My Chemical Romance, Billy Joel.
Okay.
So those two are back-to-back days. So that's going to be a really fun weekend.
Days.
And
Oh
then
my gosh.
And then we go into week 2 and 3 of the NFL preseason. So we'll be football. And then we host System of a Down and Oasis after
Okay.
that. And then football, week 1.
Oh my gosh.
And then I'll be
dude.
back here in Fort Worth after that, right?
Oh,
You should be full of lots of energy by then.
oh my gosh. It stresses me out.
It's a lot. But, it's interesting because, like, coming here this week is, like, kind of recharge. Like Sun said on Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday. Somebody said it. It's like a time to recharge, right? It's like
Yeah.
a great time to come, and like I feel that social battery just kind of filled back in, which
Oh wow,
has
that's
been good.
That's very interesting.
Like, it's weird,
That
right?
yours doesn't get drained. That it refuels you.
I mean, I will say, like, talking to everybody is exhausting,
Yeah.
but it's also good because you talk to people you don't normally talk to, and it gives you
100%.
that like sense of like, oh wait, like we're all, like we just said, we're all in this together.
Yep.
We can work through this together.
I go home like it really sets the tone for the
Yep.
year, and I just go home with like a plethora of ideas of people that I want to connect with.
Yep.
Like it really is incredible. And again, like I said, everyone that I've had the opportunity to talk to about World Cup stuff, like they're all rooting for you and what you've got going on. So I'm very excited to see how that all plays out for sure.
We got a big team around us, and it's not only the staff that we have; it's our vendors, it's friends, it's
Yep.
all anybody and everybody that's ever talked to me or I've talked to them. Like they've played a role, and I hope to show that, right? Like I hope to be able to show everybody a little piece that's been a part of it, and hopefully we can do that through social media. We can
100%,
build more into it. Just
I
to
mean,
show 'em.
everything you did this year, I loved. Like you did so much more of like the big field shots, giving everyone
Yeah.
that big picture of like what that week looked like. It's incredible the visibility that you're creating, and
And we do have other things that are to come. we are kind of working through like a February issue of like NFL changeovers. So that'll be
Okay.
in the Sports Field Management magazine.
Fun.
So we've been working through that, trying to get that dialed in. So that's to come for the February issue. So that'll
Well,
be good.
and you got to go across the pond this
right.
year.
Yes.
Oh.
On top of everything else,
Yes.
I got to
Oh
go
my
over
gosh.
twice. I got to go over twice. One was a trip to London, and that was really fun. To be
Okay,
able
and then
to
let me
do that.
guess the second one. Was
Yep.
it Germany?
Yep.
Okay.
It was Germany. It was the Munich game where the Giants and Carolina played against each other.
So cool.
And that was a really good time because, again, it's that professionalism, right? It's
Yep.
building that team of people. And like now, those folks that were over there in Munich, they're coming over for an event that we're hosting
Yep.
at our place,
So
right? So
cool.
now when they come over, they already have somebody that they know that
Yep.
they're going to come over and see. So it's just so great to have that group of people and have it across the world too.
Yep.
You know, like you said, you're hosting the world's biggest tournament. Having people from across the world on your side is good.
It's so cool. And you got to meet one of my favorite people. And maybe you've
Can I
already met
guess?
him. Yes. Maybe this was the first time, but it was definitely the first time it was on my radar that you guys were in the
Sitting
same
right
place.
next to you.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I've known Chris a while though.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like,
No, guess who I'm thinking about. One of my favorite turf professionals out there in the world.
you're one of your favorite, but international.
He was working alongside you in Germany.
Oh, obviously it goes with the theme of the shoes
Yes.
and everything else. Yeah, so got to meet Brian Johnson.
Hell yeah,
from
look at
ASU.
that. You knew exactly who I was talking about.
And again, that mirrors everything else that we've been saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
The industry is just so strong. And I was talking to somebody about it today, like people that I've seen on Twitter, I've seen the things that they do, I've
Mm-hmm.
followed their story, seen Brian Johnson painting fields and tearing up his shoes for
Yep.
years and seasons, right? And to be able to see it firsthand, talk to him in person and learn from him, right? Like it's all things that have just been it was super great to do that.
Yeah.
Like you said, super great guy, down to earth. You don't even have to talk about grass with him. He'll
Yep.
talk to you about anything. We talked travel because he's a big travel guy, him and his wife was out there with him as well.
So cool.
It was good to hear their experiences together.
Yep.
And it just showed that being a turf professional doesn't mean that you lose sight of your family too.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
and I feel like some people do lose that, but it definitely showed that as well. You know, grass
Yep.
can be family just as much as
I love that. Well, yeah, at 5:30, we're actually going to have a father and son duo stop by the
that's
booth.
perfect.
And his son is 17, a senior in high school, and running his own. He's the head groundskeeper of a minor league team.
Wow.
Because
That's
he
17.
yes, as a senior in high school.
17. Which team?
Maybe it's not minor league.
Or maybe-
Mahoning Scrappers.
Okay.
Oh, in Ohio.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, they're gonna stop by at 5:30. I'm really excited. But yeah, like he said, that was just bred from bringing him along with him the whole time, and like their turf was their family's thing. Like, and I just love that. And when we talked last, we talked music, but we also talked what you liked to do outside of the job to
Right.
because obviously. I think your episode's title was literally called like Under Pressure, like because obviously you have a huge plate. But what's your current hobby? What journey are you on that's keeping you balanced in that work life?
What's the current hobby? Oh no.
Mine is sourdough. In case you wanted to know.
Sourdough. Is that what you've been getting into
Meg's
Oh
thing.
lately?
yeah, I've been making sourdough.
It's pretty good.
It's really.
Are we gonna have to do like a secondary groundskeeper chat, like baking with Meg, or
It's
like,
not a bad idea.
It's
she's,
really-
you know what? She's a killer soup person too.
Yeah.
just like talk turf, but like while you're
Currently,
making something?
I have a text message that says.
We're going to totally go down a rabbit
I
hole.
know.
When is the Super Bowl? People are just waiting. They want to know when is my Super Bowl.
Not the big soup.
I was
No.
I was confused. I
It's
was
my
like, wait,
soup.
SOUP.
SOUPER bowl.
the Super Bowl.
It's where we have a competition of the soup. But yes, your hobbies. Sorry, I totally teed up that question so I could talk about myself. Shameless plug.
Yeah, I mean, cooking and baking has been one of those things like I've been trying to do a little bit more of
Okay.
because like I have the time. So
Yeah.
like not as crazy as sourdough right now.
Yeah,
but
no, that's a
still-
life commitment. For sure.
Still working down that path. Alex has got me into books lately. She's been trying to get me to read a little bit more.
Oh, you have no idea
So-
the rabbit hole I could go down with you right now.
we'll say just one. We'll say one book real quick. We
Yes,
won't go
please,
too far.
please.
But her and her friends were reading Fourth Wing. Oh gosh. So she read it completely. She read it. I forgot where I was.
Okay.
No, I can't tell you how Fourth Wing literally changed my life. And I hope people who are listening haven't read it, because then they know something way too intimate about me. Have you read it?
I haven't finished it.
Okay,
so
because it's pretty crazy.
I haven't finished it, but she said she got through it, and she was like, I don't know if I'm going to like it, blah, blah, blah. She got through it, and so the first thing she said is, you got to read it. And I was like, all right, fine. So like, I've been working through it. I started on the audiobook version because that's my best way to get into it. Because that 45-minute drive into work, like I can listen to it the whole time, get through a lot of it really quickly.
Yep.
And then flying out here, I was trying to read through it, actually read through it. So still working through it. TV, obviously, another big one as well.
Yep.
Trying to sit down and just watch
Severance
some of that.
comes back on Friday. Are you a Severance fan?
Yes. So I'm rewatching it right now.
We are two peas in a pod. But what I really think I need to do is get connected with Alex, because if she's reading Fourth Wing, her and I, we see each other.
Well, we've been trying. We were also trying to get through the whole Court of Thorns and Roses series, and that was a bit harder.
It is. It's much difficult.
It's deep. It's like really deep reading and dark reading, and we weren't. When we were both trying to read, it was like a really busy time, so we needed something light, right? So we kind of got away from that a little bit. Maybe we'll get back to it. But yeah, for sure, Fourth Wing has been one of those. Reading Severance TV show. Yep. We've been hooked on Love Island for the last couple of months.
Dude, you guys are my people. I can't even.
But again, it's like one of those things. Like we were watching like Grey's Anatomy and like really dark. Like they're good shows at the end of the day, but like.
You need something light.
It's got to be light, right?
And
after a long day.
It's got to be so different from your reality that it just is enjoyable to like people are always like, why do you watch reality TV? And it's like, because I would never be on that show acting like that. Like,
well, and half of the time it's all acting anyways. But like at the end of the day too, it's still just funny to listen to other people be silly and crazy,
love it.
So that's been the biggest things. We got a trip planned down to Florida to see my family, go to Disney, kind of do that whole trip. So
bring me with you.
Come on.
Has ring shopping been in your hobbies at all?
You're not the first person this week to ask that question, but
I'm so sorry.
So she's stuck in the middle of law school, so I will say we're both going to try to get through both of our busiest times.
Yeah.
She graduates May of 2026, which is also when we kickstart the World Cup preparation. Yep. So. And then she takes her bar accreditation exam in July of 26, which conveniently falls with the World Cup being in July of 2026.
If you guys make it through that, you can do anything.
So I think we got to get through that. I think we got to get through that NFL season after that. And then, we'll see where life takes us from there.
There ain't no time like the present, let me tell you, buddy.
So we're going to live now, enjoy living here right now, and just see what we can do, see the fun places we can see.
I love it.
See what opens up from there.
I love it. Well, I had to ask the hard-hitting questions here on Groundskeeper Chat.
Why would I come on if I wasn't going to get the hard questions?
Or harass, right?
That's why it's called the hot seat, right?
But dude, we could go down a book rabbit hole for days. I read 25 books this year. That was my Goodreads goal.
Good for you.
Wow.
And 30 is on my horizon this year. I've already read 2 this year.
Well, are you going to meet the goal that Chris set for you this year, too? He didn't tell you about it?
Yeah.
What is that?
75 podcasts.
Yeah.
Did you really? When did you say? I hate when we put numbers to things when there's like actual things to work towards. It's a little too much pressure for me. We're gonna have a couple more conferences where I get like 20 in 2 days. If that's gonna be accomplished.
That was a good recall because you did the same joke to her during the year in review one. So I was just like,
she came up short in the year-end recap.
I was like, really? Did I set a number?
She had the same reaction.
The same exact reaction. Got her twice.
Sometimes there's just something in the air and I get real motivated and I will go on a Google Doc and type out my 5-year plan. And sometimes I'm stupid enough to send it to Chris. And so I was
she does, and I follow up.
And I'll be like, shit, did I send him something where I was putting a timeline to how much work I was going to do this year? Because that would have been a mistake.
Is there anything on the horizon in her current 5-year plan?
In her 5-year plan?
Yeah, that's been sent recently?
She hasn't told me yet.
Okay. Still under wraps.
I'm on a need-to-know basis.
1,000%. Well, I will say what's exciting is we're kind of revamping Pioneers in the Field this year. So in the past, we launched it like at SFMA, and it was
Right.
kind of like everything at once. All of our big things were happening in 1 week, and it was definitely taking away from like
Right.
a campaign that I'm really passionate about. So this year, it's going to be relaunched in April. And then those 6 individuals, like they're going to be like our pillars or like our focal points for content throughout the year. So like we're going to do the whole enchilada with
That'll
them.
be good.
Like, you know, you'll
That's
get the
actually really good,
profile
yeah.
profile on them. You'll get a full meaty groundskeeper chat with them. I'm going to go out and get video content with them. And it's like so that they don't just get this like glimmer on the feed, but we really
Right.
like bring it home where it's like these are the people making a difference
Yeah.
in our industry.
Oh, that'll be good.
So that's what
'Cause
I'm
it
excited
definitely gets
about.
lost. You know, like you said, the fields of excellence always gets
100.
lost. The pioneers in the field, this,
Yep.
you know,
Yeah.
Dude,
all
so
of it,
I don't run the Fields of Excellence. That is my friend Trish. And I cannot tell you, I live and breathe our social media profile. And Trish, once a year, will be like, hey, can you post this on social media? This is our Field of Excellence announcement. And you would not believe how it blows up. It
Drives
keeps
Meg
me
nuts.
awake at night. Like, I'm like, what the? Like, but the amount of work that goes into that on her end
It's
too,
huge.
it like to have it be received in that
Right.
way. Like, I love that people still get excited about it. And it is such a big deal for us to just like acknowledge that no matter where you are, like you can be creating a field that's top notch, you know,
Yep.
a fields of excellence. So I saw our friend
Yeah.
hanging over
I'll,
here.
I'll call him over and
Cool.
I can do the introduction if you want.
Hell yeah.
We
Well,
can
and
just sit
we'll-
him in the
Let
other
me move
hot
all my
seat.
garbage I have
And
in the chair.
we'll go into another episode. So if you want to, we'll see you guys later on this one, and then we'll be right back.